speaking. Today I would like to present my paper based on my research entitled Princess Character Visualization in the Wayang comics of Teguh Santosa, written by me as the first author, Pramana, and the second author is Mr. Alphonse Pananzani. So the background here first is about Japanese culture, which sees women in patriarchal ideology, and also it's embedded in the narrative of Wayang arts. Wayang arts that oftenly tell us about ideal character, female characters that being idealized, like Sita and Subhadra have such characteristics, oftenly being passive, submissive, faithful, devoted, such traits. Then it's all conveyed, transmitted through the art of Wayang. So it's a guidance for the ideal values in Japanese culture. After that, there was a delayed Mr. Teguh Santosa as the second comic artist who also completely adapted the Mahabharata story after the late Mr. Kosasi into comic form. And also, he's being notable also because his characteristic visual style that often depict female in sensual imageries like that. The research question is, how did the late Teguh describe the image of the woman in Wayang comics? How did the portrayal of these female figures represent Japanese culture? First of all, we collect the main samples here being analyzed. So it's actually an artifact analysis, artistic research based on a visual artifact. This is a comic artifact as the product of visual art. So we have two main samples here. Both are creation of the late Mr. Teguh himself. Second, we need a comparison with the genuine artifact and also the analysis method here. We use to analyze those artifacts. We use the modified version of aesthetic morphology or art criticism from the E.B. Feldman. So this is the scheme, the stage of our analysis method, the entire research. So briefly, we analyze the artifact, especially focusing on the female depictions. So actually, they have the similarities between the females that Mr. Teguh depict with the traditional imageries of Wayang puppet. They share the similarity because they both using the same template to portray beautiful, using the same type of eyes, nose, and mouth. That's being idealized in the Japanese view. But we have an exception, what we call ogress. Ogress portrayed with bravery, straightforwardness, aggressive, shameless, even deceptive and proactive. And this is quite the opposite of first ideal princess. And when Mr. Teguh visualized the character of ogress, the anatomy is neither as ideal or sensual as human. So if we see here, Teguh give a sensual impression. So we have findings here that actually by Mr. Teguh has adopted the gesture of the female character in the Wayang scene to modern drawing styles, according to his visual style, of course. This we see this actually becomes a method of translating the gesture of female character from a traditional visual language, which can be applied to modern media. In this case, still a comic book. Of course, this is modern media. But these gestures can be used also to represent women's gesture in social media for nowadays. So if we see this, the development of the Wayang gesture visualization as graphic digital content is as follows. Face tilting and body gesture can emphasize the dignity of visualized females, whether her status, her attitude, character, or how do she interact actively or passively in the interaction. So the conclusion here, the courtesy of ideal woman according to Japanese culture was strongly reflected and visualized within each scene of Mr. Teguh's Wayang comic. Mr. Teguh gave also a sensual touch impressions to the female characters that cannot be found in the original Wayang image, that's unrealistic. That is his signature, a hallmark of his comic style. So the prototype of visual translation system already left us legacy to adopt traditional Japanese wayang imagery into modern visual representation that can be implemented into in the digital media, yet still retains the value of local wisdom. Okay, that would be the end of my presentation. Thank you for